Welcome back to the MJ Innocent podcast. It's your girl, Moonwalker Tanya. If you are a Moonwalker, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe. If you are a MJ hater, then beat it. Alright, so in my previous video, I was talking about some topics that my subscriber MJ's Girl 85 asked me to do. There was one topic I accidentally left out, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Now, I was informed that some people believe that they should try to forget about Michael to ease the pain of his death. And the problem is, I really don't want to tell people, like, how to grieve. You know, maybe that is easier for some people, but at the same time, though, if you forget about Michael, I mean, you're basically eliminating a big part of your life. I mean, I really could not go one day without listening to Michael's music. And I think about him all the time. And yeah, his death is painful. No doubt about that. But I think keeping him in our minds and in our hearts does help. It's kind of like if you knew, like, a friend or a family that passed away, like, do you just forget about them, or do you just try to remember the good times? And unfortunately, even though Michael was very mistreated, I try to think about the good times. I try not to think of the bad times that he went through. I do unfortunately believe that that's part of the reason why some people support the death hoax, because they don't want to accept the fact that Michael has passed away. And before I continue, I just want to say that I have been attacked every time when I talk about the death hoax, but I'm just going to say this. Like I said before, I do believe the death hoax is evil and a scam, but I do not believe that Moonwalkers who support it are evil. I think they have been brainwashed and misinformed. Because the problem is, the death hoax community, they always try to give you very pathetic, as they call them, clues to show that Michael's still alive. But here's the thing, guys. If Michael was still alive, he could sue the people from the death hoax as defamation. Because if he was trying to fake his death, they're ruining it. And like I've said before, on the day he passed away, I didn't believe it at first because the media said he died. I'm not going to believe the media when it comes to Michael Jackson. But when Jermaine gave his statement, and I watched I think it was 60 Minutes Australia interview with Catherine Jackson, I'm not going to call them liars. And you see, that's a big problem right there. Because the death hoax lady tried to say that Catherine Jackson was faking her tears in Janet's documentary. Do you really think that Michael would work with someone who would say something like that about his mother? No. I would never call Catherine Jackson a liar. And I would never call the people who prepared Michael's body for the funeral liars. And most importantly, even if I thought there was a chance that the public memorial was fake because the casket was closed, which is a pathetic reason to think that he faked his death, by the way, because not every casket at a funeral is open. But at the private memorial, where friends and family were attended, including Tom Mesereau, the casket was open and people saw him in it. And the thing is, you guys, I understand that Michael's death is very difficult to accept. I have lost friends. I have lost family. I know how painful it is. And even if we didn't meet Michael or see him perform, he is a big part of our life. I get that. But the one thing that people need to understand is Michael was human, just like all of us. And I would never believe that Michael Jackson would fake his death and abandon his mother and children. That would never happen. And like I mentioned before, I was in a fight with the death hoax lady a couple years ago. She tried to say to me, well, you don't know what Michael Jackson would or would not do. That's hater talk. And I'm surprised that anybody takes her seriously, because she wanted Michael to be guilty during the '05 trial so she could make a fortune. And now she's trying to make a fortune by selling her bogus DVDs. And what I have to say is, forgetting about Michael, in my opinion, is not a good thing. I do believe that eventually death hoax supporters will have to accept the truth. Now, I'm not going to say who, but one of my friends was a death hoax supporter, and I was shocked because I did not think this person was going to support that, but they don't anymore. After a few years, they realized that they had to accept it. So I do believe that not all of the supporters actually believe Michael is still alive. I wish he was, but unfortunately he isn't. And most importantly, I'm definitely not going to believe someone who tries to say that they faked his autopsy. It's ridiculous. And what I have to say is, maybe, let's see. I want to make sure that I say this the best way possible. I mean, maybe if people wanted to forget about Michael temporarily until they could accept his passing, I mean, and then they could start listening to his music again later, like once it's passed. I mean, maybe that would be okay, but I think cutting Michael out of your life altogether just because he's gone, I just think it's sad. He's a really big part of my life. I see him in my dreams, and you guys have seen my room. My room is basically a Michael Jackson room. I could never forget him. And yeah, I still get upset about friends and family that I've lost. But I try to think about the good times, and sometimes I even see them in my dreams. But that's also painful. Especially when they tell you in the dreams that they didn't die. I was like, yeah, you did, but at least you're still in my heart. Yeah. So, like I said before, I can't tell people either to forget or not to forget, but I think choosing to forget someone just because they passed away, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about that. I know I couldn't do it. I just think it would be like a big part of your life is missing, which it is, since we lost him 13 years ago. But we still have his music. We still have his short films. We have his albums. We have his private home videos. We have his interviews. I mean, we still have him in a way. It's kind of like if we have pictures or videos with our friends and family. It's like they're still with us that way. So I guess that would be my best way of answering that. And as a closing, as you guys know, I don't like to talk about the death hoax. But there was something that happened on Michael's birthday that I feel like I need to share with you guys. Now, like I said, I'm not going to say who this is, but one of my friends went to Michael's birthday party in Vegas, and they met Prince Jackson, which was awesome. They also met Bill Whitfield and Michael Bush and Michael's drummer. I was like, oh my gosh, I am so jealous. I mean, I swear, I'll have to show you guys the picture of my friend with Prince. I'm going to ask them if it's okay if I show it on a future video. But there was one bad thing that happened. So my friend messaged me and said that the death hoax lady was at Michael's birthday party. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. Why isn't she banned from going to those things? And I'm not going to apologize for saying that. I truly believe that she shouldn't be allowed to go to those things. But I guess until the Jackson family gets a restraining order against her, I guess they don't really have a choice. So to anyone who does follow the death hoax, if the death hoax lady said to you that she had a conversation with Prince Jackson, I'm telling you right now, she's lying to you like everything else. Because, like I said, I have a witness that was at the party. She tried to walk up to Prince to talk to him. When he saw her, he turned around and walked away. So, that should tell you right there that Prince isn't happy with her either. So, I do know that it's a very sensitive topic to talk about, and again, I am sorry, but eventually you have to accept the truth. If it takes time, that's fine, but telling yourself that he's still alive when he isn't, that's not going to ease the pain. It's actually going to make the pain worse. And then to make it worse, the death hoax lady went to my friend who was at the party, and she said to my friend, "Are there any haters here?" And I said to my friend, "Why would MJ haters go to Michael's birthday party?" And my friend was like, she meant, "Are there any people there that didn't believe the death hoax?" And I was like, wait a minute. So if we don't believe the death hoax, that makes us haters? Oh, no. To the death hoax lady, you are the real hater. You were the one who wanted Michael to be guilty during the '05 trial. So don't call us haters just because we don't believe your BS. And like I mentioned in a previous video, if you really want us to believe you, then show Michael on camera. We have to be able to see him. He cannot wear disguises. He can't wear sunglasses. It can't be too dark, too bright. It can't be zoomed out or zoomed in too close. He can't have his back to us. We have to be able to see him and understand him perfectly. And until you do that, I don't think anybody should believe you. I mean, you try to point to all these pictures with the faces blurred out and you're like, oh, there's Michael. No. And to prove it one more time, you guys, I mean, think about it. When they do an autopsy, they do blood work and take some of your tissue to prove that it's you. And that's why I don't like to talk about it, because talking about the death hoax actually hurts me. Because I'm still dealing with Michael's death, and I can only imagine how much the death hoax hurts Katherine Jackson and her family. And think about it this way. When the death hoax community tries to say that Michael has really gone, guess what? There won't be a statement from the family, there won't be any media coverage, and there won't be a funeral. You know why? Because unfortunately we lost him 13 years ago. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I have to say about this. Please let me know what you think in the comments. And I have some interesting news about MTV, and this is it. All right, so stay tuned, and I will see you in the comments.